Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready here with you midday today. Had a little couple schedule conflicts, taking care of that. So we'll talk about Ole Miss's regional victory in Coral Gables. The Rebels go 3-0 at Miami, knocking off Arizona a couple times, including a 22-6 win in the regional final. And now it is on to Hattiesburg, the Hattiesburg Super Regional, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. The Rebels or the Golden Eagles will head to Omaha for the College World Series. They split 2 games in the regular season, Southern Miss winning in Pearl, and then Ole Miss winning at Pete Taylor Park there in Hattiesburg during their run there late in the year that ended up getting them into the postseason. So we'll talk about the weekend. Talk about what it means. We'll look ahead. We'll do a lot of that stuff here on the show. A show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Go ahead and download the Exxon mobile app. You can do that. I know gas is a little expensive right now, but they'll help you out. $10.
A little?
Little expensive, yeah. Okay. Got gas right before I showed up. It's a little expensive.
I'd like to know where you got it that was a little expensive.
Little did not seem like the appropriate term there, did it? So $10 when you download the Exxon mobile app, 1,000 bonus points, they'll hook you up. Also lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drinks, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call that number, ask for Corey Clark. Get a quote within 15 minutes in business hours on the Ford product that you are interested in. Take that quote, do with it as you wish. I would recommend that you do what I've done, and that's get into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the product. You'll love the service. It's really amazing service. They take great care of you. They want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They'll prove to you what that means when you make the call, 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford, also in New Albany. And then don't forget, as it gets warm outside and summer is here, Rafters on the Water out at Sardis. Great place to grab a beer, a margarita, a burger, po' boy. Enjoy a day in the sun out there at Sardis and make Rafters a part of your day.
So, again, Ole Miss winning in Miami. We talked about it. We said there's a very clear path if they do a certain thing, and that's the thing they did. They win 7-4 over Arizona there in the opener. Peyton Chatinier, the reason for that, offensively, hits a 2-run homer. He's got a 3-run double. We're going to give him a 3-run double. I know they rolled an error, allowed the 3rd run to score, but we're going to call it a 3-run double there on Friday. They get masterful pitching on Saturday and then Sunday. The rain delays got me all thrown off. So on Sunday, they knock off Miami 2-1. Hunter Elliott, really gritty performance for anybody, but especially a freshman. And then Mason Nichols shutting them down for 2.1 innings to bridge to Brandon Johnson. Josh Mallett's really good on Saturday, and then they just bludgeoned Arizona pitching yesterday. The Wildcats were out of pitching. It showed. Tim Moko hit 3 home runs. Ole Miss scores 22 runs, which is the most runs they had scored in an NCAA tournament game in school history, eclipsing the 20-5 win over Oklahoma in the regional final in 2005. The Ole Miss bullpen doesn't allow a single run the entire regional. Tim Moko hit 778 for the regional with a 2,900 slug. OPS, something like that. It was like a 2,100 slug and like an 800 OPS.
Otherwise, my boy Peyton wins the award.
Yeah, it took a.
Peyton can always say, it
was right there.
He had to put on his cape. Otherwise, what were Peyton's numbers from the regional? Do you know them?
Without looking it up, no,
okay.
I don't know. I mean, I can do that pretty quickly.
No, it's okay.
I'll do it in a second.
I was just happy for my. I was happy for my guy.
Yesterday, everybody was hitting. So in a lot of ways, it was kind of 1-1 going in because Peyton won the game from an offensive standpoint. Peyton won the game on Saturday.
Yeah. And
then Tim's double was obviously the key hit on Sunday, and then they get to yesterday, and yeah, they couldn't get Tim out. He hits 3 home runs, goes 3 for 4 or something like that. Kemp Alderman with the grand slam as Arizona was struggling to throw a ball across the plate, and they threw a 87-mile-an-hour cement mixer at Kemp at that point, and it was
not executed the way that
the
pitch was designed.
No. It was up and flat and just kind of there at that point.
We talked about it, like you said so many times. We talked about there was a path for this team. Mm-hmm. There was a clear path. You knew what that path was, and they did it. And I think if you go back and you look at – I'm about to do the same thing. I started to say Friday. Saturday was washed out.
Yeah, I'm having a terrible time with that, but it's fine.
If you go back and look at Saturday, they had to get key hits from people down in the lineup. And earlier in the year when the announcers kept saying lost their way, I don't know that they lost their way. I just think they weren't playing very well. When that happened, they weren't getting a lot out of the lineup. The lineup had dead spots. And I thought it was a redemption of sorts for Peyton to get the big hits, plural, on Saturday night to give them a win over a good Arizona team. Ole Miss was better than Arizona, but Arizona was in position at one point, up 4-2, if I recall correctly, to feel like, hey, they have a shot here, and to come back and beat them that day. And then you knew on Saturday Miami had held their ace. You knew he was going to be good, and he was. He was really good. And Ole Miss kind of grinded him and got him out of the game, and they got into the bullpen, and then Elko got the big hit. And I thought,
real quick, Peyton 7 for 13, 3 doubles, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 4 runs. Or 10 RBIs, 10 runs scored.
That's pretty damn good.
That's a day.
He's getting it done.
That's a day.
But you they were going to have to win a game like that where an ace for another team held you down for a while, and you stayed in it. And Elliott was terrific, and I thought Nichols was, as I think I told you in a text, I thought Nichols won the game.
He did. Bridge in there in that 2.1.
I thought that was so big.
Well, look, the 6th inning is critical right there. When Elliott goes out of the game, there's runners on first and third, nobody out, and you go, okay, well, Miami's probably getting the lead here, or whatever. And Nichols, other than striking out all 3 guys, did everything he could to keep it at 1. It doesn't go to 2 right there. Right. It doesn't blow up, and it's pow, pow, pow. Then it's 0-0, giving them time.
Yeah.
And that's also right after Ole Miss had just blown an inning offensively when they had runners on second and third with nobody out and didn't score. They went strikeout, walk, fielder's choice at that point.
Yeah.
To finish that inning. So no, there's a ton of
some
stuff
of that
there.
was the kid from Miami on Sunday was
good.
really good, and you knew he was going to be really good, and that was the right decision for Miami to hold him for that game, and for them that was, look, the truth is Miami's path was 2-0, Arizona's path was 2-0.
Miami didn't have the pitching either.
No, and so once you got to 2-0, you got exactly what you wanted in the next game, too, because they played a close game, a high-pressure game, had to use. Okay, our chance here is really slim. Our chance here is that we score a ton of runs and that maybe we find somebody in our pitching staff who can bewilder them with something. And they scored.
His thought was just go lefty, 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 and hope it works.
And see it works. Yeah, and it didn't. And they got some runs early, and it was 5-5. And Wood, I thought, had just a tremendous at-bat. Was that 5th inning, 6th inning, whatever it was?
It was the 5th inning. At the time, it's 5-5.
Yeah.
He's leading off the inning, and it's a 10-pitch at-bat that turns into a walk.
And at the beginning of that at-bat, Arizona's going, we got a shot. Not a great shot, but we got a shot. We're
keeping up.
Well, they're in it.
Yeah.
You're 5-5. It's a 5-inning game, and you're going to have to figure out.
We got to get them out at some point.
I don't know who gets these 15 outs, but at least right now we have a path. And then I thought Wood's at-bat, that 10-pitch at-bat to draw a walk, and then blew it open with 5 runs. From that point, if you're Arizona in the dugout, you're like, this probably isn't going to happen for us.
Yeah. And then Ole Miss throws up the 0 there. And then after that, it was done. Because when you put it to 12-5, 13-5.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got 3 more. And at that point, Arizona was like, we had a run. I mean, we knew there was a path, and we got off the path, and we tried to get back on the path. And truth is, once you get off of it, it's hard to get back.
The 2 players were clearly upset because their season ended. But Chip Hale, their head coach, I mean, it was – for a season-ending press conference, it was the most just sort of shoulder shrug I've ever seen a coach for.
Yeah.
I'm proud of our guys, and we didn't have enough.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Again,
it wasn't the one that was going to keep him up last night when he got home.
Chip Hale knew that their path was beat Ole Miss, beat Miami,
and try to win one of 2 games.
And hope that Ole Miss and Miami beat the hell out of each other in that last game, and then you get some crippled leftover team, and you probably have enough offense to give yourself a chance. That was their path. And
Miami made absolutely the right decision holding Carson Palmquist for game 2.
Absolutely.
It was a little dicey, but they got it done, got past Canisius.
Yeah. No, they were in good shape. They played a 2-1 game against Ole Miss. And look, if they Hell yeah, it was the right decision. I mean, they held him to 2 runs.
Yeah.
I mean, if you had told what's his face before the series,
DeMare.
Yeah, if you said, hey, you're going to hold Ole Miss to 2 runs on Sunday, he'd go, okay, we win.
Yeah.
We won.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought Nichols was so big. I just thought that was critical. I mean, I'm not trying to say he was the MVP of the thing. Obviously, Elko's, but that was a big moment. That was a really big moment for Ole Miss, where an arm that maybe they didn't have a month and a half ago, or maybe they didn't believe in it a month and a half ago, to get that kind of moment from him, and then Johnson came in and was terrific. I thought that was really, really big, and I know we're going to spin forward here in a little while, but they've kind of found the whole lost their way thing that they kept doing over and over. And I don't blame by the way, I don't blame these announcers for not being particularly good, right? I mean, you ESPN's got all these people all over the place.
If you could ask John Jay some pretty specific questions, he actually could go something at you.
He was nervous.
But he was the most milquetoast human being I've ever seen.
And he was nervous. Yeah, and he was there because he had an awareness of Miami.
Yeah.
And when Miami went out, well, now what's he going to do? I mean, you're not going to bone up on Ole Miss and Arizona overnight. I mean, there wasn't much he could do. He's a super nice guy, John Jay is. He was incredibly popular with the Cardinals. He was with the Cubs for a brief amount of time.
Teams.
And
he
was very popular as a Cub. I mean, he wasn't good.
He was awful.
Yeah, but those announcing crews, for the most part,
they weren't on. Everybody has to remember. I know you were watching it on television. They weren't on television.
Yes,
that was not the ESPN2 crew.
No.
That wasn't Ben McDonald and Kyle Peterson and whomever.
And there was one guy, and I can't remember
because I don't really like Chris Burke, but he's far better than John Jay.
Yeah, I can't remember what announcer it was, which regional, but every time someone hit a home run, he had this call. It was adios or whatever.
Really?
I'm like, no, stop.
You're not.
Stop.
That's not.
You're not you. That's not. Stop. Just say home run.
You don't get a catchphrase. You are not to the point of catchphrase.
No, and it was so bad. I mean, yeah, one of the teams was down like 11 runs or something, and a dude hit a home run to cut it to 10, and he's like, adios. Like, no.
What's like Rippy mentioned it. John Jay, like on the one Kemp hit, he goes, maybe it's got a chance. And it's like, dude, he hit it to Fort Myers. Like the outfielder just goes, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's not could be. No, it is. Leave it alone. You're trying too hard.
I do like Arizona's little Oppo Taco hat thing they wear in the dugout. I got no problem with that. Let's have some fun.
And we'll get to this later. I watched a lot of different baseball regionals, and
it was a fun weekend.
It was a fun weekend. I don't mind like Oklahoma State puts on the hat and they ride the little toy horse. I like that. I like the taco thing. I like the fur coat. I like all that stuff. The only thing I'm going to say about if I'm on a team, and I've said this before, the bat flips.
Yeah.
The bat flips, like when you go celebrate with your teammates, I'm cool. When you do the flippy thing and you start talking and you're flipping people off and stuff, someone's getting hit next after that. I mean, there's just no way around the fact that you're going to have to throw at somebody. You have to stand up for your opponent, for your teammates. And that's where if I'm on a team, I'm like, hey, can we dial some of this down? Because someone's going to really, especially in a postseason, someone's going to catch one. Like some teams need.
Tennessee's not getting through this season without somebody getting thrown at before it's over.
I don't see how. They're obnoxious. They're over the top.
I really hate it was mentioned in my Twitter mentions when I posted about it. I really hate that Costello didn't get the Tennessee series, and he was the one that pushed a player to go on, and it was a Tennessee player, so we could see that blow up between an umpire pushing the Tennessee kid to get moving and let's get around the bases a little bit. I
mean, I don't mind when you hit if you hit one like Alderman hit it. I mean, you get to watch for a second or two.
The kid from East Carolina watched for literally a second.
Yeah.
If anybody missed it,
that tells you
Costello is the worst umpire in the country. He is awful. And he gets great assignments constantly, so I guess his actual strike zones or something are good. I don't know, but he's your Joe West College version. I mean, he is a complete and utter ump show every time he calls a game. And the East Carolina kid, he hits it and kind of drops the bat. No bat flip, just kind of drops the bat and Just stands there for, a second, and he's pushing him in the back and getting him. It's like,
had it gotten chippy earlier? Was he trying to prevent?
I don't think so. The game was like 9-0.
Okay.
It was.
I just didn't know whether.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Because sometimes as an umpire, you can sense probably that a game is we this is a powder keg. I don't want to have to fill out all the paperwork from a powder keg. Let's cool this down a little. That does happen.
Yeah, sure. And I guess I'm a little more sensitive to it because of Scott Forbes, the North Carolina head coach, getting suspended for 2 games the day before for nothing, really. Nothing of any out of the ordinary. And then the NCAA Twitter account promoting the fact that an umpire touched a player the next day.
Yeah.
Let's have a little bit of awareness, which they don't in any way whatsoever.
Nope.
Because East Carolina posted it like, wow, he touched him. And the NCAA grabs it and goes, see, need a little help. And it's like, no, that's not the way that. Yeah, the kid for Oklahoma State did do that. He ran the bases as fast as possible after one of his home runs.
That kid had a hell of a regional, too.
Yeah. He ran the entire bases in 16 seconds.
Yeah. He's a hell of a player. He's a freshman. Reggio or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell of a player.
Oklahoma State's good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a big moment in that game last night. They had the bases loaded, and they had an opportunity, and the left-handed kid for Arkansas struck him out in that moment. That was like the pivotal moment of that game. But you're right. It was. Look, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of good games. It was the Oregon State regional, by the way. They sent me the thread.
The ball is so juiced, but that's okay. Whatever.
Isn't that interesting? The college ball is juiced, and the Major League Baseball ball is dead.
No. The college ball is so juiced right now. They have turned that bad boy up and said we're gonna hit home runs. It underscores how well that game was pitched on Sunday, because you look around the regionals at the scores, you don't see 2-1 games.
Yeah. 29-15.
They were down 12-0 in the 4th inning and won by 15 runs.
Yeah.
In 2 innings, Oklahoma State, was it Oklahoma State? Yeah.
Yeah.
Went from down 12-0 to up 17-14 in 2 innings.
Yeah, if you tell the coach at Missouri State, hey, you're going to have a 12-0 lead, he's like, oh, my God, we did it.
Yeah. No, you actually got ruled.
You didn't even come close to getting it.
Yeah, 2-1. And look, Miami's park's it's a launching pad.
Yeah.
The ball jumps out of that place.
Yeah. But now some of the ones Ole Miss hit, those weren't juiced.
No, those were gone.
Those were crushed.
Yeah. And Arizona did too early. They matched them for a minute.
They have a couple of good hitters in that lineup.
Susak's damn good.
Yeah, he's good.
I really like Susak.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we talked about it. I wrote about it. I kind of focused my story on Sunday about it. Elliott, I don't know from a stuff standpoint what his ceiling is. I don't know where he's going to max out. But at least at the college level, he's an 80 from a mental standpoint, sticking in there, getting out of jams, not freaking out, because Neal and I both watched a good bit of baseball over the weekend, and freshman pitchers on the road in these regionals were really struggling to maintain and not let the crowd and the energy and the adrenaline and all that stuff get to them.
Yeah. And
what he was able to do, it's bunt, single, walk, even right there, because the yo-yo comes up for Miami, and you're going, hey, this thing could turn sideways. He gets the strikeout, walks the next guy, and then goes strikeout, gets out of the inning, and you go, and just over and over again. Miami got the leadoff batter on 4 straight innings and didn't score on any of the four innings.
No,
he figures it out.
He grinds. Like you said, he's a really smart pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to people in Tupelo, and I'm over there a lot,
they love him.
They love him. They love how tough he is and mentally tough, and you saw it.
And he was locked in. I don't criticize him for this, because they're all in the moment. He yells at Hayden Leatherwood at one point, or at least in his direction there in the 5th when the ball wasn't caught in right field. You could make it. It didn't take John Boy to figure out what was being said there at that instant. He was in there. He was competing. So down the road, because of the way he competes, that's an ace eventually. Yeah. Even maybe as early as next year, depending on what DeLucia does or doesn't do. But
he's got another really big game coming up.
He's about to get the ball. One way or the other, he's going to pitch this weekend. So, 0-1 or 1-0. That's going to happen. So, we'll look a little more from the weekend around the country. We'll go ahead and start looking at Southern Miss also. But first, tell you about Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market. a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
We're brought to you by Holcomb. I'm learning how to pronounce that.
Holcomb.
I was
Holcomb.
I was pronouncing it incorrectly.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Got all these people like, hey, you did it wrong. I didn't know.
You're not up on all the small town Mississippi pronunciations?
Probably not. No, probably not. Yeah.
Probably a good game. We could give you some words and say, what is this? Yeah.
I still get mad about Lafayette. Like,
three different pronunciations.
It should be Lafayette. Anyway, we're Holcomb Portable Buildings, 7991 Highway 7 South in Holcomb. It's they've custom build your building to your specifications, however you want your carport, ATV or storage shed, barn, hunting cabin, or other buildings. Holcomb Portable Buildings can accommodate you. You pick the color, the style, the windows, and the doors, and Holcomb Portable Buildings makes it happen. In-house financing is available, and there's free delivery and setup within 75 miles of Holcomb. For more information, call 662-226-2233 or go to holcombbuildings.com. You can also find them on Facebook or Instagram at Holcomb Portable Buildings. Father's Day, almost upon us, and Dead Soxy has the perfect gift for any budget. Whether as a gift or buying for yourself, Dead Soxy is excited to help you celebrate with style. Go to deadsoxy.com, take advantage of the site-wide 35% off sale. Stock up on a gift your feet will thank you for time and again. Deadsoxy.com, promo code Rebel Grove for 35% off your entire order. Happy Father's Day from Dead Soxy. As always, stay Soxy. Game Changer patches are the only two-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch is used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game, ready for your next place. Go to GameChangerPatch.com, enter the promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. Automation and Control Systems, LLC, is owned and operated by Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. ACS has a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. ACS can custom tailor software packages, custom design electrical control panel solutions, and much, much more. It's a full-service AutoCAD services provider and a full-service fiber optic cabling solution provider. To learn more, go to acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. We're brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. Lammon's has been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. Lammon's is the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. Give them a call to transfer your medications from a big box pharmacy. Use somebody who will know you, who will care about you, and also with the MedPack Highlight, you can go ahead and get a MedPack for increasingly popular, especially for people that are helping their parents manage their medications. They've been talking about it for a while. It's been in Holly Springs at Tyson Drugs for over a decade, but now included in Oxford as well through G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar. They're prepackaged by the pharmacy by date and time. Each morning pouch is followed by an evening pouch, and so on. They also deliver in the Oxford area with G&M. Again, 662-236-2222. Yeah, the blunder of the weekend was the kid saying Evan Russell was suspended for PEDs, and that was not the case. He played the next day. That's not ideal from the ESPN commentating.
That's not a blunder. That's defamation.
It's defamation, but I actually watched Clay Travis on Twitter talk about this for a while. I don't think, because I did actually disagree with Clay here, he doesn't have damages from a lawsuit because it was corrected so fast that there's no long-term harm in the situation. Had it gone weeks, then that's different.
That can't happen.
No, it's so stupid. Like, once some dude just said something and he repeated it on air on national television. Let's not do that. That would be preferable there. Just ridiculous. Ole Miss, they're a Saturday start. We thought that would happen. Their side of the bracket is Saturday, which means they will be the second day in Omaha. Whoever comes out of these four super regionals, they will be on that side, and then Friday obviously starts the first day in Omaha on the other side. And We'll see what happens. 5 of the 16 teams in Super Regional play were either 2 or 3 seeds. So 11 of the 16 are host teams that got out of their regional. 2 SEC teams in that mix. Ole Miss and Arkansas both were 2 or 3s that advanced. Ole Miss playing at 3 o'clock on Saturday at Pete Taylor Park. That's Central Time. ESPNU for that one. They're playing at 3 o'clock the next day on Sunday as well for Game 2. That's on either ESPN2 or ESPNU, and then they have not set times for any potential third games that would happen on Monday. The winner of Ole Miss and Southern Miss, when they get to the College World Series, they will play the winner of Auburn and Oregon State. That's a 3:14 matchup. Those are quite late games. Those are 9:30 Central and 9 o'clock Central on Saturday and Sunday for the Tigers and the Beavers. Auburn's got a little bit of a long trip ahead of them here. They get to go to Corvallis and play really late night games the next these 2 days. UConn Stanford also is on this side of the bracket. UConn winning the Maryland Regional. They play Stanford, so long trip there from the Huskies from
Stores.
That's correct. I was naming every other Connecticut city in my head. I was like Bristol, like Hartford. No, that's not it. It's Stores. Yeah, that's correct. They're headed to Palo Alto, and then in Omaha, the winner of that will play the winner of Arkansas and North Carolina. That is in Chapel Hill this weekend. North Carolina handled their business after losing to VCU. They come back and won 3 in a row to take that regional. Arkansas also had to get to a final game there before they got out of that one. So that's that. Oregon State did too, actually. Vanderbilt pushed them to a final game.
Yeah, that was
Vanderbilt played really well. They just got beat.
The Oregon State Regional was actually some of the best baseball. It was really entertaining.
It was just at time slots where people weren't overly locked into that.
The LSU Southern Miss games were really entertaining. I mean, they were.
I would have bet a lot of money that LSU was not going to go 1, 2, 3 in the night like they did yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a whimper.
Kind of expected some drama there.
Oh yeah, you're ready to go. Well, it was. I'll read the other side of the bracket in a second, but my phone blew up all day yesterday with where would Ole Miss rather go? Who would they rather play? And it's like
Southern Miss.
Yeah. Now look though. Here's the deal. Yeah. Look. Going to Alex Box and going, that is the preferred place to go play. That's not the answer in the postseason.
No.
You don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
Winning 5 out of 6 games in a season at Alex Box is not what you want to have to do to advance. Jacob Berry was not on the field when they played.
He was going to be on the field this weekend. He was going to be
on the field.
Yeah, and it's a difference.
That was not what you wanted to do. Southern Miss is where you wanted to play. In a 3-game series, I'd much rather deal with Southern Miss. I will say this. This is going to be the most hostile environment that Ole Miss baseball has ever played in this weekend.
Yep.
And I don't mean this season. I mean in program history. It is going to be – it's because it's already kind of the most vicious place they play every year anyway. I mean, they set the school record for attendance during a midweek game there earlier this season, actually a month ago. It was 6,200 and something. It's only going to be 5,100, 5,200 because the NCAA play you don't oversell. They're not bringing in extra, to my knowledge, they're not bringing in more seats. Because I don't know why you wouldn't have done it for the regional if you were going to do it. So it doesn't make sense you would do it now. Tickets, very hard to come by if you don't have a pretty high priority level or you're willing to pay definitely into the hundreds for a ticket. You're not going to get in this weekend. But no, it is going to be a ridiculously difficult environment for Ole Miss. However, that's the team you would rather play. You would much rather play the team that lost series to UAB and Old Dominion
all day
over the course of the year.
And here's another reason. If you go down to LSU this year, his first year, all that stuff, there's no pressure on LSU. They relish it. It's a free shot. I don't ever want to play LSU where it's a free shot. This is not a free shot for Southern Miss.
No, it's the shot.
It's the shot. They're going to be tight. There's pressure on them.
You think they're tight?
Yeah, of course.
You think whenever Ole Miss presses them, they will?
Yes, they're going to be tight. They're going to. They know they don't get this opportunity every time. They know it. They absolutely know it. LSU goes, we host these things all the time. You don't get that with Southern Miss. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong. People are free to disagree.
And look, Southern Miss can still win the freaking Super Regional.
And then here's the other thing. Yes, of course. If you tell me, hey, you can play a team from the Sun Belt or you can play a team from the SEC, which do you choose? Sun Belt. All day. Every day.
No matter what their situation is.
Why? Because if you play an SEC team there's depth of pitching. Somewhere there's an arm that was good enough to get an SEC offer. You get into the end of a Sun Belt pitching staff, and there's opportunities to bash. And I think Ole Miss is a team that can bash. I mean, LSU obviously this year did not have the pitching that we're used to seeing from LSU. That's obvious. I get it. But that lineup's Cruz and Barry and the other kid, is it Dugas? And
yeah.
I mean, all those cats. I mean, there's just
Cody had a big deal. I mean,
they'll stress you out offensively. And then Mike had to go down there.
They're going to Sun Belt. They're Conference USA moving to Sun Belt.
Cool. Same.
Yeah, whatever.
Same holds. Like you saw it with Auburn. You saw it with Vanderbilt. These teams that have depth of pitching, they stay in these things. Even when things don't go well, they just hang around.
I'm intrigued to see Ole Miss against Tanner Hall. Potentially, from a production standpoint, it's been as good as anybody on either team. DeLucia with a huge opportunity on Saturday for Ole Miss, and again, they for a 3-game series, they've established they have enough depth in the bullpen.
Yeah,
Mallett's is good enough. Johnson's good enough.
No, the place where Ole Miss was going to be in trouble was a regional where you had to come out of the losers bracket. I just didn't think they had enough pitching to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty convinced after watching what I watched that I was right.
Yeah, they can win a series.
Yeah, they've won lots of series.
Frankly, on the road. At Baton Rouge, at Auburn.
I think this particular team and this particular –
you think they're better off on the road?
Yes. Home is all the angst. Road is no angst. You go on the – Peyton's talked about it. They kind of like the road. It's a close team. They've been together for a while. They get to hang out on the road. The only people that are around really are family and friends, so the people that are around are supportive, and there's not all that
stuff,
tightness and stuff. And
they didn't get tight at any point over the weekend at all.
No, not at all.
Even when they were behind Arizona in the opener, they just kind of kept coming.
They played really, really well.
Because if it was going to happen, it was going to be that 6th inning because they had been actually hitting the Irvin kid pretty good and just couldn't get anything to show for it.
Yeah.
And then just –
they knew it was coming, and it did. They just held on and got the big hit and played a great game on Sunday, and then blew out Arizona. I mean, that was perfect for them. I think they're in a great place mentally. If you watch all the press conferences afterwards, I know you were on them. You were asking questions. I just watched. Yeah, I like where they are mentally. They've already been through kind of the hell of it all, if you think about it. I mean, they went through a horrific 4 weeks where they came back from Fayetteville, I think. Was Fayetteville after Starkville?
Fayetteville was – then they got back home. They were 7-14.
Yeah, I mean, you come back and you Peyton talked about it on his show. Everybody looks around and goes, well, I mean, so I guess what we have to do now is go 7-2. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And they went 7-2, and they got the very last spot in the tournament. And then he said, hey, we're just happy to be in now. Yeah, they wouldn't care where they went. Corvallis, Coral Gables, wherever they were going to go. They knew they were going somewhere as a 3. They had not earned the right to host, and that they were going to have to go do it. And I think you watched the way that they played. It's very clear that they're not tight right now, but they should be confident.
Oh,
and you go to Hattiesburg.
You've gone to a place you've won.
You go to Hattiesburg, and
they've seen that already. They know it.
Yeah, come on. They're not going to be intimidated.
So somebody asked Mike yesterday, said, what's the benefit? And he said, look, we've got so much video of everybody. That doesn't really matter. He goes, now we'll have a good scouting report on their hitters. He goes, we don't see their pitchers, so I don't know rotation. We'll have to figure that out. He goes, but where it benefits is because we've been in the environment. We've seen 6,000 Southern Miss fans in a place and hostile and all that stuff. We've won there. He goes, we're comfortable with it.
And here's the other reason, too. I wouldn't want to play, and I realize you would have the benefit of you've seen Hilliard before and you've seen the LSU guys before, but LSU's seen DeLucia.
Yeah.
They've seen Hunter Elliott. They've seen Brandon Johnson multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I know they didn't win those games, but if you're LSU, you're like, we're going to have Barry back, and we've seen these guys. Maybe we'll have a little better approach this time around. And Southern Miss doesn't have that benefit. I just would rather have an SEC roster over a Conference USA or Atlantic 10 or Sun Belt or any other small. Give me the high major roster every time.
And offensively, Ole Miss has figured out some level of an identity. It looks close to kind of what it is supposed to kind of look like.
Yeah, they're back playing the way that actually they're playing better than they ever played at any point earlier in the season. Earlier in the season, they had the ranking, but if you watched them, it was like, this does not look like a top 10 team.
They mauled bad pitching, and that's what they did early in the season. They mauled bad pitching.
Look, it's a new weekend, and you got to go win 2 games and all that stuff, but they looked like, for the first time, really, well, they looked like it at LSU. Missouri was just not very good. But kind of late in the season, I mean, I know they lost 2 out of 3 to A&M. A&M's good. Mm-hmm. A&M's really good.
Mm-hmm. They're still playing.
Yeah. They kind of started looking like a Omaha-capable team. And I thought over the weekend they looked like very much like an Omaha-capable team. If you're listening to this, you probably watched a lot of college baseball around the country. You know, I was laughing. Someone goes, "Well, that's going to." Talking to somebody about some assignment. It's like, "Oh, it's going to be a really hard assignment." Yeah, at this point of the year, every assignment's good. There's
all 16 teams just won a regional.
They just won a regional, so you're going to play a good team.
Yeah,
I just thought it was. If I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm pretty excited about where my team is at this point because I think it's the first time this year that I watched them and went, you know what, they might do it. Even early in the year. I didn't think.
Thought, okay, there's a flaw.
Well, you and I would talk about it, and you were like, I don't know. And I was like, I don't think this team's all that good. I can remember telling you.
Well, the pitching wasn't good. Elliott wasn't starting. DeLucia wasn't starting.
Yeah. I can remember telling you early in the year, I said, Chase, they don't look very good.
I mean, their opening weekend was Diamond, Gaddis, McDaniel.
Yeah, and they won 2 out of 3 at Auburn, but they weren't very impressive doing it. This is the first time that they've really looked like a team that could do something. They look like a team that could do something. Now, they're in a pool of teams now where there's 12 or 13 of them that I think look like a team that could do something. Mm-hmm. But they're in it. I mean, there's one dominant team in the country.
There is. And everybody else is.
And then there's some good teams. And I think Ole Miss, for the first time in a while, I think you can honestly say, hey, they're really good. Like, I think you could make a case that Ole Miss is the second best team in the SEC right now. Now, you could make that same case for
A&M.
A&M, certainly. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You could make that case for Auburn, the way that they play. If you watched Arkansas yesterday, you could make the case for Arkansas. They played a really good game last night in Stillwater.
Arkansas's got a really good culture that benefits them in the postseason.
Yeah. And they're a veteran team, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I think you could make that case for Ole Miss. And I don't know that you could have made that case a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago, I remember putting them like 12th on my weekly ranking going, there's not much difference between Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Missouri at this moment. Mm-hmm. And then to their credit, they just answered the bell down the stretch. And I think right now they're playing with a lot of confidence.
They are.
And I think to some degree, even though the fan base doesn't think this way, I think among the guys on a roster, kind of playing with some house money.
Yeah.
This is kind of, hey, we did it. You know, we were left for dead.
We're still here.
And this is kind of free shots. And so I think that's kind of the psychology. I know it's not like that with the fan base because we hadn't even talked about Mike and the job and all that stuff.
We got time.
But I think inside that roster, and I'm obviously a little informed here, I think inside that roster, this is fun for the first time in a while. All the angst in the middle of the year was not fun.
No.
And it's over. You survived it. By the hair of your chin, but you survived it. And sometimes after that happens, you're like, hey, well, whatever happens from here on out, it's gravy. And if I'm Southern Miss, Ole Miss is not the team that I want in Hattiesburg this weekend. I'd much rather have Arkansas in Hattiesburg. I'd rather have Auburn in Hattiesburg.
Oh, would you really?
Yes, absolutely. Because having Ole Miss there is another element. Oh, my God, we get this close and we get this opportunity at home, and yet it's them.
And a lot more Mississippi kids who are feeling that, whereas Ole Miss is a bunch of Texas and Florida kids and whatever. I mean, Jacob Gonzalez does not have a lot of Southern Miss.
Tim Elko's not worked up over Southern Miss.
No.
Dylan
Peyton couldn't have probably told you they were in Hattiesburg out of high school.
Dylan DeLucia probably before this year couldn't have told you where Hattiesburg was. Yeah. I guess he would have had a tip that it was southern Mississippi. He would have said, well, it's probably in the southern part. But, I mean, yeah. So, no.
Versus the kid from Northwest Rankin who really wanted that Ole Miss offer and goes, I'm going to show you. Yeah. I'm going to.
And now they press.
Yeah. It's right there on the racket for the Rebels. So,
Bubba, thank you for the super chat. That's very kind. We really appreciate it.
We'll continue talking about it in a second. Northeast Spark, NESPARC, service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the 100 Mbps. That's the Ignite or the Blaze, that 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and much more. So get the best internet in Lafayette County. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159.
Brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, but the same great products, same great services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer, 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern, 662-429-4429. The College Corner is your one-stop Rebel shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area and Ridgeland. It's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. You can also go to collegecornerstore.com, and you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day with the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle. Based in Madison, Mississippi, Pinnacle provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much, much more. At Pinnacle, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. Regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. Brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Get in touch with John if you're working on your summer vacation. You still have time to plan one of those that will be could create a lifetime of unique memories. Or if you're maybe planning something for the holidays, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. You don't have to live near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. And we're brought to you by Opa. It's Oxford's newest restaurant on the square. A delicious menu featuring gyros, wraps, kebabs, redfish, lamb chops, handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, all of that at 306 South Lamar, just south of the Square Courthouse in Oxford. And if you are in the market for a Nissan vehicle, I highly recommend Grenada Nissan, located just off Interstate 55 in Grenada, Mississippi. Grenada Nissan has a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
I guess it's brought to you by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. Get restaurant quality shrimp shipped straight to your door, and in less than 10 minutes it goes from freezer to plate. They have 5 great flavors, including the 2 new recent ones, including Simply Shrimp, where you season it yourself. Great for kids and other people who are a little more picky with their eating, or the garlic herb butter. Pasta, rice, veggies, make a shrimp scampi, or pair it with a steak if that's what you like. I prefer the signature blend, which is kind of a garlic flavor, goes great on salads. You can cook with it. Goes really your all-purpose one for everything. And they've also got the little more spicy one, Louisiana Shrimp Bowl, for that. So primeshrimp.com, MPW is the code, $20 off your first order with primeshrimp.com. The rest of the games, I did not do that, are on Friday, those openers. And again, you've got the Tennessee Vols, as you mentioned. They've got a 6 o'clock start on Friday, a 5 o'clock start on Friday, and a 1 o'clock start on Saturday. They are against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Link Jarrett might be leaving South Bend just simply because of the NCAA screw jobs that keep happening to the Irish. They walked right through the regional there in Statesboro against Georgia Southern and Texas Tech. Everybody saw that coming.
The good news for them is that the whole country's cheering for them this week.
They are America's team.
Yes.
Notre Dame, for the first in football, they don't get that. Now, right now, by God, you see the Gold Dome and you go, America's team. Yeah. And the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
People will be cheering for Notre Dame harder than at a Rudy movie. I mean, it's going to be just everybody engaged. If you care anything about it,
they should have hosted 2 years in a row. They didn't host either season. And their super regional pairings are Mississippi State and Tennessee in these 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a problem with somebody on the committee somewhere. Not ideal for the Irish. So they're 38-14. They battled the Tennessee. Is that really 38-14? That's all the games they've played. And then Tennessee 56-7 at this point on their season. Yeah. So Campbell tried hard.
They did.
Was in it for a while.
Yeah.
It's a good program. If Cliff leaves, the guy Campbell would be a really interesting next coach at East Carolina. Same area up there.
So who else is Friday? So we got
Texas and East Carolina, speaking of. That is in Greenville, North Carolina.
That'll be
Jungle. Good. That's a 5 o'clock start on ESPN2. And
that's got a chance to be a sneaky good.
No, that's noon. Sorry, 11 a.m. there.
That's got a chance to be. That's got a chance.
You like that one?
Yeah.
Louisville is at Texas A&M on Friday. That's a good series. That's a really, really good series.
Sign me up. Yep, that's a good one.
Go Cards. It's a cross sport. I'm done. Like go Cards. We're all in on Dan. I did feel horrible for Michigan. They got completely and utterly screwed in their regional final. Instead of being up 9-7 going to the ninth inning, 3 outs away from advancing in a winner-take-all game, the umpires missed a call on the field, which I actually I'll give them that one. It was bang bang, and then missed it on replay as well. Louisville ties the game on the next at bat with a single, and then hits a 2-run homer to go up by 2, and then they end up eliminating the Wolverines there. I would not have wanted to be in the room with Eric Backich when he finally saw the replay later on.
No.
in the day, because it was missed. It was completely.
And you
missed.
feel for those kids. That's not the way you want to lose. You want to lose the way Arizona lost yesterday. We're like, you know what? They're better than us.
Yeah.
Cool. Good luck.
Yeah, we'll be cheering for you. And then your other game, Oklahoma at Virginia Tech, the number 4 national seed Hokies against an Oklahoma team that probably should have been a host as well.
Yeah, Oklahoma went into Gainesville. I watched a lot of that series, and that was actually really good. Oklahoma-Florida was good baseball. I know this is shocking. The 2 teams joining the SEC in a couple of years are also really good in baseball. Oklahoma's legit. They're good. I think they'll – I don't know. They're legit. The Big 12 was pretty good. There were some good teams.
Big 12 was, it's top heavy, but it was good.
Yeah.
What's your first blush? We both expect Tennessee to win.
I'll say Tennessee in 3.
I think Notre Dame gets them once. It
feels. Yeah. God, I hope so.
Oh.
Give me that third game where Tennessee suddenly feels a little something for the first time all year. Because they basically clinched the SEC like 3 weeks in. The tournament was a free shot.
They did hold their composure pretty well against Campbell when they got down. I will give them credit.
Yeah.
Now, they're idiots, but
I want to see – I would love to see a third game with a little –
with something on it.
A little something on it, yeah.
They're so high-strung.
Yeah. You sort of wonder if –
like, you want to take a pin and, like, pop Drew Gilbert because you just – everything's so – I would like.
You can't run around the bases flipping off the other team.
How is that just okay?
You just can't.
How is that? I understand. We've had a message board post about this, and they go, "Well, it's expected."
No, it's not. That's not in any word.
How are officials just letting all this go?
I don't understand.
How is that different than not cussing the guy? Is my point. Isn't that toning either way?
Yeah.
Or profanity or whatever the rule. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, figure it out.
I'll give Georgia Tech credit. More man than me. There would have been problems.
Oh, it happens at the wrong time. He's doing this, and when he goes across second, some shortstop clocks him.
Just goes, that's it. That's enough.
And here we go.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing this right here.
Credit to them.
Is that who it was? It was Tech.
I think so.
Yeah.
Mark says they're obnoxious, but it's good for the sport. You know what? In some ways, you're right.
In some ways, yes.
Because you're getting eyeballs, and that's what they're trying to get. So, yeah, you're right, but boy.
It's good for the casual person. It's not good for the sport for people who actually watch the sport anyway. There's a difference.
Yeah.
It brings in more outside eyeballs. It's not good for the actual college baseball fan.
Right. Yeah, sure.
I mean, different.
That's my whole thing about the bat flips and stuff. I love some of the other stuff, like the hat and the ride
and
the
again,
horse.
I would be
That's fun.
I would even laugh at it more if they shook it off when somebody did something to them. But by God, you look in their direction and they start freaking out. Like they don't handle it back at them at all.
Yeah.
They're a bully.
Yeah.
Bully gets punched and he loses his mind. That's what happens with Tennessee. Now, look, they might bully everybody the whole damn way through and win the whole thing. I mean, they're good.
They're the favorite for sure.
But it's not palatable because of that.
Yeah.
Auburn shows you a little teeth back and you suddenly are losing your mind.
I'll be curious to see Notre Dame.
Yeah, Link's got a little edge to him. It's got a chance
Got a chance.
Needed to get close and whatever. I want Cliff to make Omaha. I hope they beat Texas, East Carolina. I've got a little bit of a
yeah. I mean, I'm
there.
cheering for your friend.
Yeah.
I'm picking Texas.
Texas is just so much more athletic, and they're
Texas
the better team. It's back to the whole.
They're
argument.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's back to the whole argument, especially the first game. Texas has a legitimate ace that probably gets you ahead 1-0, and then you're trying to get one more.
Yeah.
For a non-SEC environment, it's a really hard place to play.
Sure.
But, yeah.
I'll take Texas in 3.
Yeah. I think Louisville gets A&M in College Station this weekend. Yeah. Not even about all this stuff. I just think Louisville wins that Super Regional. I'm not even sure they don't win it in 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure I disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Virginia Tech is really good. I've got a hunch Oklahoma's on a little bit of a run here. I think Oklahoma wins the Blacksburg Regional.
Oh, really? Yeah, I did not see Virginia Tech, so I can't really comment. I've watched Oklahoma some. Virginia
Tech's good. No, Virginia Tech is really, really good.
They're legit. OU's legit. So we'll see.
I like Stanford to dispatch of Jim Penders and UConn.
Yes.
This weekend across the country.
Yeah.
UConn is the ultimate. We're really happy to be playing this weekend.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I like North Carolina to beat Arkansas this weekend.
Yeah, I haven't seen North Carolina play. I watched a little bit of their because they lost a game and then they had to kind of come struggling back, and they popped VCU. I'll go home team in 3. If you're Arkansas, you're got to feel like, hey, you got a shot here because you just took 2 out of 3 from a really good baseball team.
Sure.
I mean, Oak State is –
that was not the best draw in the world. I mean, that was not where you were happy about it.
They're more than a little plucky. They can bash. So, and that's it. That's got a chance to be a really good series.
Yeah.
And then it's Auburn, Oregon State.
Yeah, I was trying to think. I guess I could go either way. Yeah, it's Ole Miss, Southern Miss. I actually think Ole Miss wins this weekend.
I do too.
And then, Auburn, Oregon State, and I think the Beavers win.
Yeah, but I think Auburn gets one and makes it a 3-game series. And you get into a 3rd game in one of these deals.
Did you hear Butch's answer yesterday?
No.
Did you see this? Kind of wish we had it queued up where I could play it. It's an Ole Miss thing too. When they were growing, it sounded he gave a perfect response, and somebody said, I don't know exactly what the question was. I'll find it. I'll put it on the board. Somebody asked Butch after the game, after they had won yesterday, after they just walked through their regional, about the goal of getting to Omaha, essentially. Mm-hmm. And he said, no, the goal is to win a national championship. He said, the goal is not to get to Omaha. And he said, what you do, and when you're doing that, he goes, everybody talks about that, but he goes, and he used the quote about, a lot of times when people fail, it's aiming low and hitting, not aiming high and missing. And he said that if he only had the goal of getting to Omaha, he said, we're at an SEC school. He goes, I'm an SEC head coach. He said, we're at a program that cares now. He goes, we've won a lot of games. He goes, we just scored how many ever runs in a regional and walked through the regional. He goes, if my goal to them is simply to get to the College World Series, what happens when we get there? What does that look like? He goes, he goes, our goal is to win a national title. We will celebrate steps along the way.
Sure.
But that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think there are some programs that go, our goal is to get there, and then they get there, and it's kind of over.
Mm-hmm.
They struggle when they get there.
Yeah. He's you know me. I love the guy. I'm so in on that guy. I mean, he's my dude. I mean,
if Neal were an AD with an opening, he would be an interview candidate.
I'd hire him. I mean, he's my guy. Because there's a mailbag question I haven't answered it yet, is how quickly would you hire Tony Vitello? And the answer is quickly, but I've got a but there. I don't have one on Butch.
You don't?
I'd hire him tomorrow. He checks, and that's not about Mike Bianco, by the way. He just checks every box for me. That's a great answer.
Yeah, he was very thoughtful.
He's right. Your goal is to win the national championship. Because the reason is if you make it all about getting to Omaha and then you get there and you're not focused, well, you know how hard it is to get there. So when you get there, it is an opportunity. Because when you get there, you're in a 4-team bracket with a legitimate shot to get to the National Championship Series. And if you get to the National Championship Series, well, you're playing for the National Championship.
Well, look, State showed that last year. They weren't the best team in the country.
No.
They had a good draw. They were playing really well. They were hot as a firecracker, and they caught lightning in a bottle.
Well, and here's the truth. Ole Miss has gotten a hell of a draw. Now, they had to play really well, but the draw was
no, you and I pulled it up this morning and went, way cart before horse. They could get beaten too in Hattiesburg, and this thing be over by Sunday afternoon. But you go, if you could get past Oregon State, it opens up.
Sure. You got a pitcher that throws fly balls in a
and he doesn't walk anybody
in a big old park, and your offense is starting to get hot, and you play pretty good defense here lately. Yeah, I mean,
got a puncher shot.
I mean, those 8 teams on Ole Miss's side of the bracket right now, none of them are. There's only one that I go, yeah, they're better than Ole Miss, but I don't go, oh God, they're so much better that I just no. I mean, I think Oregon State's a better baseball team than Ole Miss today, but not by such a measure that I'd be
it's
like,
baseball. One game.
Yeah, well, it's not like Tennessee over there where you're like, I don't know how you beat them.
2 out of 3.
Yeah. You look at the other teams like, North Carolina, Arkansas. Yeah, you could lose to those teams, but you could beat those teams. They're good teams. I mean, in the same way that if I'm North Carolina or Arkansas right now, I'm looking at this going, son of a bitch, we got a shot. I mean, I would have confidence. I mean, there's only one team that's out there that you look at them and go, oh, son, I don't know. I don't know that this, if we're being honest with ourselves, I don't know that we can do this. Every other team, yeah, sure.
I'll tell you, though, what is a possible slip-up for Tennessee. That first game in Omaha gets weird. Texas can beat them with the ace.
Oh, sure.
And if you go 0-1, it's a tough road back. Something can go weird on you for a day.
Sure.
You're playing nothing but hot teams having to win 4 in a row to get to a championship series.
Look, Texas is capable of winning a national championship. I mean, I've watched them. They're good.
They are.
Now, they could lose at East Carolina.
Yeah, sure.
But they've got the goods.
Well, that's your point. Every team but Tennessee probably can lose this weekend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of – people talked about growing the game, right? I mean, I think what's happened is that you're seeing that with some 2s and 3s, and you look at it now, and, I mean, if I told you, I don't know, pick a series, not don't do Stanford, Connecticut, because I think it's the one that I'm like,
Oklahoma, Virginia Tech.
Okay, I mean, Oklahoma got to Omaha. Who would they play in the first round?
Let's see. Oklahoma is against the 4, so they would play the 5, A&M, or Louisville.
Oklahoma could beat either one of those 2 teams. Now, they could lose to both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they could win one game, and all of a sudden you're in the winner's bracket in Omaha, and now you kind of you control your own destiny a little bit. Sure.
In 2014, had Ole Miss beaten Virginia in the first game, they were going to play for a national title.
Yeah.
The winner of that Ole Miss-Virginia team was going to come out of that side of that bracket.
Oklahoma's probably not the team I'd pick as my example, but sure, they fit.
Look, I get Oregon State as the one team over there that's whatever, and I get Stanford was really good last year and went to Omaha, but I don't love them offensively. Now they pitch, but I don't love them offensively. UConn, Stanford, Arkansas, North Carolina, Southern Miss, Ole Miss, Auburn, Oregon State is going to play for the national title.
Yeah, one of those 8 teams.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's there.
Kind of why it's right there for you. Really, all the other stuff that's happened doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, and of all the places where you say, hey, where do you want to go? I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, and this doesn't mean that you're not going to go get beat twice, but if we're being honest and you said, here are the 8 locations, pick one, I'm not sure I wouldn't pick Hattiesburg.
You'd pick Hattiesburg before East Carolina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd pick Hattiesburg before I picked Chapel Hill. I'd pick Hattiesburg before I picked Corvallis. I'd pick Hattiesburg before I picked Stanford.
Yeah, Blacksburg. Yeah,
Blacksburg would be high on my list.
but that's because they're not typically here.
Yeah,
I mean, they're good.
sure.
They're the number 4 in overall national seed.
I get it.
But yeah, I get what you mean.
But
It's like in a regional. If you said, "Hey, where do you want to go?" Georgia Southern and Maryland were the 2 places I really want to go, and both of them lost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, I mean, of the 8 places, it would be pretty high up. Mm-hmm. Hey, you get to pick where you go. If you put a lottery thing and you get the first pick.
Yeah,
it might be the one I'd take.
Yeah.
So if I'm doesn't mean you're going to do it, but God, the path's been cleared.
Mm-hmm. Podcast brought to you in part by Johnston Hill Creamery, small batch artisanal cheese fermentations, all the cheese made locally in-house every single day. They also have new charcuterie boards. They have a bakery, catering, and a lunch menu that is now offered via delivery through Fetched. Give them a call, 662-419-9201 or cheese at johnstonhillcreamery.com. If you go to their Instagram page at Johnston Hill Creamery, you see images and pictures of all the different things that they do, including they catered their first wedding over the weekend. If you've got a special event coming up, get in touch with them. They'd love to create something for you, cater something for you there. So again, to do that is 662-419-9201.
I'll have a mailbag up tomorrow at rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency has been connecting great job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, pretty much no matter your field, whether you're entry level or you have a lot of experience, they can help you. If you are looking to hire quality, hard to find talent, they can help you as well. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You have nothing to lose, so give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website at servicespecialistltd.com. Hoping to tape a edition of the Peyton Chattenay Show here pretty soon, hopefully today or tomorrow. It's brought to you by The Rogue. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylists hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, there's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or therogue.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward, chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest. No down payment financing is available at corinthdental.com. Brought to you by Bell & Grove. They're based out of Chattanooga. They are a logistics provider with more than 35 years of transportation industry experience. Bell & Grove specializes in domestic freight movement throughout the continental U.S. They can navigate through supply chain issues while also leaning on their partner carriers to get the most competitive rates possible for their customers. They can help customers design a custom solution for their shipping needs. Whether your business is in need of moving a truckload, a partial shipment, or a flatbed, Bell & Grove can accommodate you. They also provide both air and ground expedited services for customers who need to move product quickly. For more information, call Daryl Oliver at 865-672-6557. Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall, upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. They've got 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. There's a lot to be offered at Southern Traditions. So get in touch with them. Camp season going on right now throughout the month of June, 8:30 to 2, Monday through Friday. Get in touch with Susan Walt, Bowers Cone, by getting on Facebook or Instagram. Reach out to them at Southern Traditions Farm.
Somebody asking in the thread why the high-scoring games. Look, baseball's a little down in college this year. COVID impacted it from the way the rosters are set up. I thought there was
COVID cost a lot of arms. A lot of guys didn't get that work, and you see arm injuries all the time.
And then the elite arms still got drafted, whereas there's lots of really experienced college hitters that are back that didn't go anywhere. Elko wouldn't be here without that year. Those kind of guys have seen so much, and they're really in tune to the college game from an offensive standpoint. And then, look, this always kind of happens on the Sunday and Monday of regionals because you get into these – you got good teams playing and they don't have depth and they start bashing away a little bit. And the ball's juiced. I mean, it just is. The ball – there were balls going out of Hoover during the SEC tournament that should not have been going out at all. I mean, it's bumping.
I'm glad I didn't watch a lot of Hoover because I watched a lot of the regionals instead.
Yeah.
And I told you this, after watching Ole Miss, Auburn, Arkansas, Florida, if I'm an SEC team that has my ticket punched, I'm not taking Hoover seriously ever again. I want the rest.
If you've got to get to Saturday to host, is the host worth it?
How good you're pitching?
I don't know.
Probably not.
You'd rather be a 2 rested.
I'd rather have a bunch of rested arms because that regional format, and if it rains, it compresses it even more. That regional format, man, you need arms plural, Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As long as I know I'm in the tournament, Hoover, I'm like, guys, let's get out of here. Give me the rest. It helped Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah.
It helped Arkansas. It helped Auburn.
There's an emotional energy you put into Hoover, too.
A lot.
It starts really mattering on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, you start because you're
trophy hunting.
You're competitors. That's why you're playing at that level.
It's kids who are only playing baseball. They're not taking classes. It feels like summer baseball again from All-Stars, where we're just running through tournaments.
Yeah, and tournaments.
We wake up and play.
But those are fun tournaments because there's nothing to lose. I mean, there is, but there's not. And guys get hurt. Who was it last year that had a guy get hurt? It was Arkansas, right? Slavens.
That's right. Yeah.
Damn near broke his ankle.
Yeah.
Trying to beat out an infield hit. You didn't need to beat out. They were a host.
They were the best team in the country.
Yeah, you didn't need to beat out an infield hit. No. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, I felt like in Hoover last year, Van Horn was just going, God, can we go home? God, can we go home? Can we go home? Can we go home? Go home?
I don't know how much of their regional you got to watch, but I was watching some of it, and they were talking about he admitted that, hey, getting out of Hoover for us was probably good. Needed to some guys just simply to rest, needed to get off the field, needed to get fresh, and they did.
Alan asking, Chase, is there more parity this year in the SEC than past years? I didn't think there was more parity in the regular season, but there was more parity in the postseason in who could advance because it's what I mentioned this on the podcast a few weeks ago. Suss and I were discussing the way pitching was set up because not many SEC teams had that really dominant second starter. That if you were just doing odds on who is the best chance of getting to Omaha and SEC teams not named Tennessee, you could make the argument for Ole Miss pretty quickly simply because of Elliott in Game 2.
Easy.
Where you go, well, you just got to go 2-0, 2-0, and you kind of get there. I mean, that was, A&M doesn't have that second dude, especially when they have to use Menifee in Game 1.
Yeah.
There's not a lot there. It's okay, but.
No, I mean, Schlossnagel's done a phenomenal job because getting that pitching staff to this place was kind of a pretzel.
We'll talk about this more in the week, but not to show you we're not dodging it or anything. I don't know. I don't have any definitive answer on what this does from a hot seat situation with Mike Bianco. I will say this, however. I
think I know where you're going.
Is it Omaha or bust? I don't know. I honestly do not know. I know Mike Bianco was not going to be back had he not gotten out of a regional and had they missed the postseason. He goes, but what does this do now? I don't know. Because here's the point. He's done a hell of a job. Ole Miss and Arkansas are the only teams that have made it to Super Regionals 3 years in a row in the SEC. That's it. That's the list. Vanderbilt didn't make it this year. LSU didn't make it this year. They could have added to that as well. He's done a great job. He's gotten to this point. So everybody who is for, and I get the message board is whatever, but that's skewed, not real life. It's pretty 50-50 in the fan base on what they want to do with Mike Bianco. It's a big number in both directions. And Mike is giving all the ammunition to people to go, see, look what he's able to do. You guys only were cared about the postseason, and look, he found a way, and they got it back, and they went on the run, and he's never going to suck. Even when he's 7-14, he's going to figure it out. And those people just have another mountain of things to talk about.
Sure.
And then if they lose this weekend, the other side goes, yeah, but again, he's 1-10 in games to go to the College World Series. He didn't do it again, and if we're paying a guy $1.4 million or $1.2 million to lose super regionals, and that side has another mountain of evidence, and it is Groundhog Day for me, where I don't just want to go bald and pull all of my hair out.
You don't want to go bald.
I knew you were going there. So I get all that. Forget it, though. That's not the point. The point is what it would do if you fired him this week. And does this matter? I don't know. Maybe you got a guy you know you're going to get, and he'll take it anyway. But my opinion, and it's a little bit educated, is that it would change perception of what you did. Does that matter? I don't know. It's up to you.
So let me make sure. I know what you're saying because you and I have had this conversation 52 times, not on the air. So what you're saying is, let's say a scenario, Ole Miss doesn't win the Super Regional.
Well, look. If he goes to Omaha, he's getting a raise, he is getting an extension.
But if you fire a coach
who has been to a Super Regional 3 years in a row,
because listen, in this league today. There are 2 men who can say, I've been to 3 straight Super Regionals. 2020 didn't count because of COVID.
Yeah, sure.
And it's Dave Van Horn and it's Mike Bianco.
That's it.
Nobody else can say it. And there's a lot of good coaches in this league. A lot of good programs.
Tim Corbin can't go down that road today.
Nope. Mississippi State's got a ring, and this year they went 8 and what they go? 7?
9-21.
Whatever. I mean, what you're saying, I think, is now look, are there people who would take the job? Of course they would take the job. But if you're Dan McDonnell, if you're Butch,
well, that's where I'm going. Those are the 2 I want to talk about because it's 2 things. Also, look, is it complete apples to apples? Maybe not. But I do get a little annoyed on the message board when somebody goes, if you make the Final 16, that's nothing like the Sweet 16 in basketball. Well, that's not true because everybody makes the resource argument. And sure, it's not as noticeable. But for every Gonzaga in basketball, there's a Texas State in basketball. They're just different freaking
baseball,
teams.
Yeah.
And you can't sit here and go that all 64 Power 5 teams give a shit about basketball. You cannot make that argument because they don't.
No.
So it's more apples to apples than that guy's wanting to make it out to be on what you're able to do to get there.
I'll even go one further. Like we talked about, no team's ever coming out of Conference USA and going to winning the national championship in basketball.
Sure.
It's never going to happen. No team's coming out of the Sun Belt and getting to the Elite 8 in basketball.
I mean, Gonzaga is your closest thing and what they have been able to do.
Yeah, but
Butler.
They're no longer. I mean, I know what
that's like Cal State Fullerton doing it.
Yeah, I know what league they're in, but Gonzaga recruits the top players in the country. Chet Holmgren played for them.
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren's not from Spokane. He's from Minneapolis.
Right.
I mean, Jalen Suggs went to play there. I mean, they're Duke on the West Coast to some degree.
Yeah. The point is, and like again, and it's the point. I mean, you're exhibiting. I'm not mad. I actually appreciate you saying this. He goes, I don't know why 3 straight super regionals is a thing when it's a talking point at the end of the year. No one said we won't fire him if he at least makes a super. I get it. I'm just saying there's very few places where that guy is fired who makes 3 straight Sweet 16s. In basketball, baseball, pick your sport.
No,
that's very sport.
And so if you fire him, here's what I think we're trying to get across. I don't know why I think we're dancing around the words a little bit.
I'm saying that who are you hiring? Because if you fire him, your list changes.
Yes, because
had Ole Miss not made the tournament and had they gotten beaten in the regional, I think there's a very good chance Dan McDonnell potentially takes the job. I think Butch Thompson takes the job when it all gets down to it. Is that still the case? My opinion is no. It's my opinion. I could be wrong. I haven't talked to Dan today about it.
Because if I'm Butch, right?
If you're Butch, you go, okay, I get the Ole Miss job as a job on steroids compared to what I have. Yeah. But it's also a very similar job to what I have. They're paying me a ton of money at Auburn. I don't think Dan takes that job if Mike gets fired after getting to a super regional. I don't think Butch takes that job. Now, does that matter? And does Keith have somebody else and that's who they're hiring? Then great.
Could be, sure.
I think Eric Bakich would still take the job. I think Link Jarrett would still take the job. But there's a lot of coaches where I do think it changes the pool that you are recruiting to, and does that matter?
Because it sends a really clear message to a prospective coach, which is, hey, bud, just so you know.
Yeah.
The objective here at all times is, well, what you're saying is Sweet 16 or Super Regional is not enough.
Yeah, sure.
Period. And hey, if that's the message you want to send, great, send it.
Yeah.
But just understand that
in full circle as we're closing, that's the point. Is yes, Ole Miss has not been to Omaha enough under Mike Bianco.
Sure.
Period. That is true.
Absolutely.
Most places would have fired Mike Bianco at some point in the last 22 years for his lack of Omaha appearances.
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
I'm not arguing with you.
Nope.
I'm just saying that in the coaching community, there's an antenna that goes up.
I was out walking, and you and I were having this conversation. If you're at 30,000 feet, this is the part that's hard for us who talk about it every day, for fans who are involved in it every day. If you're 30,000 feet, right, and everybody else who is like out there, that's where they are, they look at it and go, that's one of the most successful programs in the country. They're getting it done. Only a handful of people would be like, oh, they're not getting to Omaha. Yeah, I know the state people do it to you. They're antagonizing and stuff. But the truth is again, only 2 programs in the league have gotten this far 3 years in a row. The last 3 years. Only 2. It is an achievement to win regionals. It's hard to do. Ask Florida today. Ask Georgia today. It's hard to do. And so when you get to where you're doing it consistently, and yes, you have to get to Omaha, but the perception of the way people that you would be trying to hire, because I think Butch Thompson would look at you and go, so wait a minute. Let me be clear here.
Butch has been to 3 of the last 4.
If I don't get to Omaha for a couple of years, I'm on the hot seat. Is that what you're saying? Because that seems to be what you're saying. Because Butch doesn't give a about what happened in 2008, right? I mean, he's like, I'm recruiting kids that, what were they, 4 at the time? I don't care. So what you're telling me is that right now today, it's get to Omaha here in the first couple of years or else it's going to get a little hot. And I'm at Auburn where I don't have that pressure. I can still get to Omaha because I've done it. And they're going to pay me just as much money. I mean, if Butch goes to Auburn and goes, what are they paying, 1.4? He goes to
between 1.4 and 1.5.
If he goes, hey, I kind of want 1.65. Okay, here, take it. We'll give you some TV money.
Yeah.
They'll get that done. So that's the thing about it now is that and look, you can still do it. I mean, you can fire him.
If you don't fire him, though, and they lose a super regional,
you repeat.
We're going into next year having the exact same conversation.
It's why it
is the ultimate Groundhog Day.
I'll tell you this, if I'm Keith,
because he loses to Southern, that adds to it. You didn't lose to Oregon State.
Yeah, no. If I'm Keith Carter,
every player on Southern's roster you could have signed if you wanted to. You chose not to.
If I'm Keith, I've never wanted my team to win more. Never in my life have I wanted my team to win more than this right now. Yeah. Never, ever, ever have I wanted, except for the time maybe that I was on the court playing with an Ole Miss uniform on, have I wanted Ole Miss to win a game more than I want them to win 2 games this weekend.
Yeah.
To eliminate this.
No, because the people who go, nope, by God, that's even another, what happened is another reason why he's got to be gone. I mean, you're louder than ever because it's Southern.
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's deafening.
I dread.
And I get it.
If Ole Miss loses next week and then they don't do something, I dread our shows. We'll do them, but don't. Yeah, I mean, I'll be like wearing body armor the whole time. No, now that they've gotten this far, if you're Keith, you need them. Mm-hmm. You need them to finish their season one way or the other in Nebraska.
Yeah,
not Hattiesburg.
Yeah. Who gives a damn when they get there? But just get there.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, 0-2, whatever. But
I mean,
you'd like to win, but that's not the point right now.
Right. You're not firing a coach after he goes to the College World Series.
Yeah. So, okay, we will be back tomorrow, and we'll talk about the same thing over and over and over again. And,
I know we talked nothing but not to interrupt you. We talked nothing but baseball here. There is a lot of college football recruiting up at rebelgrove.com. A lot of it from me. There's more to come. I've got more to write. I had to stop to do the podcast, but I don't know how many things are in that thread. Chicks presented by the Oxford Crystal, by the way. All of that's up at the site. There'll be more. The new Rivals 250 is out today. Jaden Rashada up to number 30 as we get 11 days away from his commitment date. So there's a lot of football recruiting that's up on the site as well. If you are a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, Now would be a really good time to subscribe if you're interested in football recruiting, because there's a lot from the weekend. There's a lot from today's camp that's up on the message board, and you need to be a subscriber. And it's cheaper than 2 gallons of gas.
Oh, it's true.
You could get a month of rebelgrove.com cheaper than you can get 2 gallons of gas.
A month with us or drive 40 miles. One or the other.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. It's pretty.
That's your pick.
I think that's an easy decision, but sometimes I wonder.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
All right. Back tomorrow. Have a great day. A lot of stuff at rebelgrove.com, as Neal mentioned, and we'll talk to you then.